all of our favorite movies. Elf, Cheaper by the Dozen, and that one movie that people gatekeep so hard that they've convinced themselves that they're the executive producer. But somewhere, deep in the shadows, your favorite movie has had a child with its sibling. Well, Jurassic Park, my favorite movie, lived for years in the spotlight, feeding off of the glistening stardust and every graphic t-shirt sale from Target. That was until the Lord's year of 2013 when this happened. Yes, that's right, folks. Today we'll be talking about a practically homemade film called Jurassic Attack. Or Rise of the Dinosaurs? Hey, but listen to me, all right? Listen, hey, listen. I'm not gonna hold you for too long here. I say we just, we hop into it and we cry. We begin with the only action shot in the film that doesn't contain CGI, or more simply put, the most expensive shot in the entire movie. Inside the plane, we meet Professor Roxton, a scientist who seems to be able to determine plane directions only using a pair of binoculars. Then the pilot butts in to let us know that
we're 100 miles from the nearest village.
Yet, the shot directly before this one tells us that can't be true. Finally, deciding to look at a map, Professor Roxton realizes that they are indeed lost, and then the pilot gives the loaded reply.
You know, we can spend our entire lives searching this godforsaken jungle and never find a damn thing except spider monkeys and malaria.
We're gonna move past that one, okay? Now, usually when someone in a movie gets lost in a plane, they either land or they don't. And based on the amount of exterior plane shots that they've already used in the film, I don't think they even have the budget to land it. So naturally, down go the bozos in a crash sequence so poor that it looks like the actors are on a simulation ride. Whoa. After surviving the most brutally animated plane crash of all time, the pilot decides to celebrate by pleasuring himself. Professor Roxton decides to, walk it off, and quickly notices the sound of heavy footsteps approaching.
Bob, I don't think we're alone.
He tries to alert the pilot, but, he hasn't busted yet. Give the guy some fucking space. Oh shit, never mind. Behold the most frightening CGI dinosaur in the history of CGI dinosaurs. Professor Roxton tells the pilot not to move, kind of like in the real Jurassic Park.
Nobody move a muscle.
Hey, but this is Jurassic Attack, baby. Around here, we jack it and haul ass. Oops. So then Roxton shreds it out of there, and then we're done with the prologue. Then we cut to the inside of a plane with a U.S. Special Task Force, who we will soon find out are our main characters. The next 2 minutes give us essentially all of our exposition with minimal introduction to the characters, and then we're just thrown into the action. It feels like if you were to watch Fast and Furious 9 without ever having seen any of the other Fast and Furious films, which honestly sounds like a pretty realistic situation because I don't see myself ever watching a Fast and Furious film. Colonel Carter, played by this guy whose grandma apparently calls him Corky. That's not a joke. I'm looking at the IMDb page right now. I don't know why it's included. He contacts the task force to basically debrief them on the details of their mission, which has nothing to do with dinosaurs, mind you. And we learn that they're after this guy named Gustavo Marquez, who looks like a Gucci model and also every Call of Duty villain. Now, if you thought I was exaggerating about the lack of exposition in this film, they literally brush off explaining his character's entire history because he's a sick bastard.
You know what kind of sick bastard he is, so I don't have to go into detail.
Now, what we do know about his character is that him and his goons have kidnapped this biochemist, Dr. Ibanez, from a biochemist convention. Sure. And they're essentially holding her hostage because she knows how to make, chemical bombs.
What kind of chemicals we talking about, boss?
We won't know that for sure until we reach the camp.
Can they just answer one question? Finally, it's revealed that they've had a man on the inside for the past couple of months, and him and Marquez are tight. But if their mission fails, Colonel Carter literally has permission to airstrike the entire mission area with no regard for the task force. Now, you'd probably think, hey, that's illegal. That's not okay. But then you remember that we're dealing with the U.S. military. So it's not bad writing. It's just realistic. Now, right before the story moves on, they attempt to fit in just a little bit more exposition between the two main characters. Captain John Stakely, who's played by some guy named Gary Stretch, and Lieutenant Haldeman, played by Alicia Ziegler. Now, she's known for a movie called Wolftown and also Lake Placid 2 Unrated. I love that one. It's so much more than Lake Placid 1. Anyway, Lieutenant Haldeman tries to appeal to the captain in what I believe is supposed to be a moment of connection between the two characters, but the writers got lazy again, and they just made him act like a total prick.
The mission is the girl. We've been after Marquez for years. I know what nailing that son of a bitch would mean to you. Am I right to be concerned?
Chief,
Your mission is to go.
Stone cold. What happens next is a 45-second poorly shot skydiving sequence that was filmed on a couple of GoPro cameras by some folks in military outfits who aren't in the movie and just having a good time. And if you think I'm just being critical, you can literally see the GoPro camera on top of this guy's head. Anyway, I guess we're meant to believe that it was a harsh landing because they were able to spend enough money to hang this guy from a tree, which is their attempt at, comedy. And then him and this extra who performs for his goddamn life meet up with the captain. Sure enough, they spotted Marquez with the man on the inside, and Marquez is like, fuck, yes sir, nice bomb, and then immediately tries to have him backstabbed. Well, that didn't work. During this action sequence, this one extra with no cover goes absolutely nuts with his pistol against like an entire line of assault rifle fire, and I think that's so badass and stupid. And then this guy who only goes by tank whips out an RPG and blows up the van with the chemical bomb in it. Why? And look, I'm not gonna go into detail about every single poorly animated CGI shot in this film. I'm gonna show you plenty and you'll see for yourself. Marquez's troops start storming out to battle, and let me tell you, these extras bring the energy. Look at the way they run. In the midst of all of this, the unnamed man on the inside manages a super awkward takedown and then shoots the poor guy point blank. But it's a short-lived victory because this happens seconds later as he's trying to save the doctor.
I'm getting you out of here.
Jesus Christ, Marquez really is a sick bastard. I hope he doesn't say a super creepy and almost unintelligible catchphrase after.
He was right about one thing. It's time to leave, baby.
Gross. Most of the art in this film, for me, comes from the poorly constructed action sequences. They tend to go on for minutes at a time, and most of the shots don't even look like they were filmed in the same location. They're riddled with weird audio errors and people who look like they have no idea what they're doing. So fuck! Oh god, shit! Oh, whoa! The only reason this film isn't camp is because everyone is either taking it super seriously or just not giving a single shit. It is the spitting image of a high school theater production because no one is talented and everyone hates each other. Here's an example. At the end of the action sequence, Lieutenant Haldeman and Tank take out one of Marquez's goons, and then this exchange occurs.
Thanks.
Yeah. You owe me.
I'll owe you all night long.
Really? I took you more for a 5-minute kind of guy.
Really weird. Exchanges like this occur throughout the movie, and I think they're intended to be for comedic relief, but it just comes off like all of the characters hate each other, so there's no one to root for. Additionally, they always give Tank the creepy sexual lines, so it burns out after, like, the first joke.
What's the matter, Tank? You afraid of getting your shorts a little wet?
As long as you're here to yank my cord, Chief.
I actually can't even understand what he's trying to say there, but I feel like the editor was already on his 10th Ambien of the night. C'est la vie, you know? Back at the military base, they think that the bomb has gone off and the chemical agent has been released, which really upsets this absolute wiener munch of a character, Agent Grimaldi. We're never given his status level or his purpose, but we do get multiple scenes of him just being awful.
We need to glass that entire area before it gets out.
Not until my men are clear.
Colonel, your men are probably infected already.
You have no way of knowing that.
A performance, Corky. He basically just wants to bomb the entire area with no remorse. U.S. military moment. But the Colonel won't have it because he's a good guy. Anyway, back to the action. Nice. Captain Stakely finds the man on the inside, dead as fuck, and of course, gives him the classic post-death eye shot. But then he catches up with the doctor and Marquez just in time.
Lose the gun, not lose your life. Been a while.
Oh, whoa, that definitely was not a clear shot. The funniest part about this scene is that he shoots Marquez in the arm, and instead of continuing to resist, Marquez, in no pain, is just like, okay. After another brief disagreement between the troops and the army base.
Actual, this is HQ. Request denied. Your position is severely compromised.
Just bring the bird down on this location immediately. Out.
He's terminated communication.
Okay.
It's decided that they're getting out of there. Captain Stakely picks people off Rambo style for no reason in this scene, and might I say, he's out in a field and these goofballs are hiding in the woods, meaning not only is he hardly aiming, but also taking them out with extreme ease and accuracy, once again symbolizing the sheer power and murder potential of the U.S. Armed Forces. Inside the helicopter, things get a little heated after Marquez boasts about apparently waiting months to kill that man on the inside.
I waited patiently 2 years to cut that gringo's throat.
to see him bleeding like a pig.
And this prompts Tank to say one of the most poorly delivered lines in the entire film.
We should take him up 35,000 feet and drop him without a chute. If he ain't dead by the time he hit the ground, he'll wish he was. Go ahead and do it!
Yeah, thanks for cutting him off, Marquez. I couldn't take it either. Oh shit, a rocket! Now we get to watch this CGI helicopter get taken down by a CGI rocket in a CGI blaze of glory. After the plane crashes and everyone survives, except for the pilot, who is very dead, it's discovered that Marquez has escaped, so Captain Stakely goes after him. But not before he can be stopped by Lieutenant Haldeman, who reminds him that he's going off mission.
Get everyone away from the wreck. Protect the girl.
But you're going off mission.
That's right.
And she's like, okay. How fucking ridiculous is that? There are countless conflicts in the film that could easily present interesting and dynamic plot points, but it's almost as if the writers were like, okay, this is good. This is good. You know, he can't go off mission because those are the rules. Right. Okay, so how do we resolve it? Let's do the dinosaur scene now. Yup, I knew it. I knew it was gonna be great.
Everyone out! This plane's unstable. Everyone out!
Move. Let's go. You're the chief.
Corporal, grab Felix.
Felix is gone, Chief.
Oh yeah, Felix is definitely gone. Good introduction to the character, though. They haven't mentioned that name once. These two soldiers who somehow fell like a football field away from the helicopter try to recover, and this one, who's definitely going to die soon, notices rustling in the bushes. Finally, a fucking dinosaur. It's okay, though. It's okay, because if I've learned anything from definitely not religious superstar Chris Pratt, these babies can be tamed and... Oh, my bad. After that soldier gets dunked on, his friend returns only to have weird CGI things done to him by the same velociraptor. Why are you getting into position like that? What's going on? Meanwhile, Captain Stakely finally catches up with Marquez, and they have what could be the strangest fight scene of all time.
Kill me. Are you gonna die? Kill me. You wanna die? Yeah.
Wow, I'm soaking wet, thanks. Most of the close combat in this film sort of feels like, rather than being given direction, the actors were just told to feel it out, but for what it's worth, it seems like they took it pretty literally. Once they're back with the group, everyone does a cute little check-in, everyone's good, everyone's fine, except for Dr. Ibanez, who out of nowhere decides she's gonna try and kill Marquez, and then that's over. Everything in this movie is predictable, until it isn't. Then she points out that the area that they're in feels like some sort of weird phenomenon that she's never felt before, and then everyone in the group acts like she's crazy, even though she's a biochemist, and they know that. I understand that it's dramatic irony, but maybe it would hit a little bit harder if all of the characters weren't acting like pieces of shit 24/7. Captain Stakely goes to cool off in some dino water, and then he's like, ew. And then while they're walking, Lieutenant Haldeman cracks a joke that hits just about as hard as a poop dropping into the toilet.
It's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it.
That's what I said about my ex-boyfriend.
Then they find a piece of torn cloth on the ground, which Captain Stakely thinks was done by a pair of claws, but everyone else thinks that it's Marquez, which once again throws them into the nuclear reactor of ignorance. And while the rest of the group moves ahead, this guy gets double slurped by 2 velociraptors. The captain goes off to try and find a radio signal, and for some reason the jungle is filled with smoke, like it's just been firebombed. Hey, and guess what? He doesn't get a signal. He goes back to the group and he tells them that he felt like, specifically, a reptile was watching him.
A little lizard spooked you, boss?
And then he complains about the dino water again.
That's not all the water. It didn't seem right, didn't taste right.
Yeah, or maybe you're getting some hints of dysentery. At this point, almost exactly halfway through the film, Dr. Ibanez releases a theory which she could have shared with the group literally any time sooner. She goes on to tell them that she thinks they're trapped in this crater that was created years ago by a meteorite, but it's so overgrown at this point that you can't see it from above. And this is where the whole cut off from the rest of the world device comes into play. And that makes sense in the case of the actual Jurassic Park, which is on an island, but this is supposed to take place in the middle of South America. You ever seen one of these? They fly. Hey, Post Malone may not be coming to Brazil, but this guy is, and he will eat your head. Dr. Ibanez brushes off the idea, but warns the group that they're still in danger. The best part of it all is this one wide shot where Dr. Ibanez is talking to the rest of the group, but no one's mouths are moving.
I think we've only scratched the surface of what we've discovered here.
When they're about to leave, Tank stabs this weird, gooey, homemade beetle, which gives Marquez the opportunity to steal his knife. This sequence sequence was so bizarrely placed that I could hardly tell I was being assaulted by a plot device. So they're on the road again, and yeah, you know what that means. Side characters getting killed by dinos. The rest of the gang finally catches on, and when they discover chunky, nasty guts on the ground, they decide it's time to go hunting.
I think we go hunting.
This film does a really good job at hiding the fact that it's a knockoff, simply because the story and the writing is just abysmal. So do you remember that classic scene in Jurassic Park where he's like,
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
and then he shows them all the dinosaurs? Well, this is where it happens in this film. And I knew immediately that that's what they were going for here, but I didn't realize that they were trying to fully recreate it. Even if I try to convince myself that it's somewhat pretty, which it kind of is, I just can't get over the fact that it looks like it was shot in a marsh in fucking Florida. But anyway, back to the military propaganda. They notice that there's a hermit-looking guy crouched down in the field, so naturally, Captain Stakely, with no caution whatsoever, just walks straight through the dinosaurs to talk to him. And lo and behold, it's Professor Roxton from the beginning! Captain Stakely, without knowing who or what this guy is just like, come on. Roxton naturally is super reluctant and just tells him to go away, but that doesn't make much sense to me because if I was stranded and I saw another person for the first time, my first reaction would not be hissing. Regardless, Captain Stakely's walkie-talkie goes off, which freaks out a Triceratops, and when he tries to defend himself, Roxton tackles him out of the way. Then a poorly animated T-Rex comes out of nowhere, and Roxton's like, fuck yeah, but the group is like, fuck no, and then this epic sequence ensues where everyone is either running for their lives or sitting around and watching like it's a midday low-budget music festival set. So everyone decides to follow Roxton back into the jungle, and Captain Stakely stays behind to mow down the T-Rex with a little help from Dr. Ibanez.
What'd you learn shit like that?
From my father?
Oh, of course, it's always from the father. That's such a recycled line. Why can't she just be like, I saw red and it felt good and I'm not crazy, and then just vomit and cry? So Roxton takes everyone down to his lair, which honestly looks kind of sick, and then he tells everyone that he's been living there for 5 years. He explains that he's tried escaping the crater before, but that this is where he's meant to be. The 5-year thing makes sense because his only character trait now is acting like an absolute moron, but then again, we didn't get a really good read on his personality in the beginning, so for all we know, he could have always been this way. Regardless, Roxton, who's played by Michael Worth, gives probably the most decent performance out of the whole cast. However, he's relentlessly energetic, and when matched with the other performers' abilities, it's kind of hard to watch. Dr. Ibanez recognizes Roxton and tells him that she's a huge fan of his work.
I've read all of your papers on phylogenetic systematics. Your discoveries are fascinating.
Yeah, thanks, Doctor. I'd appreciate it if you never looked at me like that again. The scene actually had the potential to reveal some really interesting details about the crater, but because the group is so interested with leaving and not hearing about literal dinosaurs, the opportunity just falls flat. It's as if the only reason they put dinosaurs in the movie in the first place was to create epic kill sequences. Roxton points the group towards a way out, which is an area called Death Valley. Why is it called Death Valley? Well, in true Jurassic Attack fashion, they don't tell us. The only explanation that we get is that it's much worse than dinosaurs. I just want it to be over. Before heading to an almost guaranteed death sentence, the group decides to get a good night of rest in. While relaxing by the fire, Dr. Ibanez tells Captain Stakely that she wants to set their differences aside, which would be super sweet if they had a single goddamn difference to work out in the first place. Captain Stakely, invigorated by this useless conversation, decides that it's time to go off mission once again and take out Marquez, once and for all. He's right behind me, isn't he? So this is where the sort of final battle goes down. They try to make it super dramatic like we've been waiting for it the entire film, but so far Marquez has proven to be ferociously submissive around the clock. In an attempt to make it all or nothing, Captain Stakely puts down his gun after already beating Marquez to the ground so they can go at it in a hand-to-hand fight to the death. Here's how that works out almost immediately. They actually have sort of an epic fight, but then Captain Stakely ruins it when he gets the upper hand again by delivering this half-assed 300 type line.
Do you want more?
No, I don't. Right before the finishing blow, they get cock-blocked by a dinosaur that attacks Marquez, and then Stakely saves him. Like, wrap it the fuck up!
Sounds like the boss found Marquez.
More like something found them.
I hate all of you. After defeating that dino, another one shows up, and Marquez hits him with the 360 cross-the-map throwing knife kill, once again reinforcing him as nothing but a Call of Duty character. And now they're friends.
You saved my life, Marquez. But nothing changes. But for a moment. Captain.
That was dummy erotic. Oh, fuck. Jesus Christ. Okay, we're almost at the end. Roxton takes everyone out into a field so he can yell at them for being idiots, which I, can't blame him for. And he basically tells them that ever since they showed up, things started turning to shit. Perhaps this movie is a nod to environmental damage caused by human beings, but, I don't know. This film has fucking dementia. Out of nowhere, Roxton says that he's gonna go to the bathroom, and then he scurries off, so here we go again. Turns out he comes across a sleeping dinosaur, and when he does, there's this amazing shot where he's supposed to be petting it, but they absolutely screw the CGI and it looks like this. And then after that, I kid you not, he smacks its ass. Well, naturally, this doesn't make the dinosaur too happy, and this guy ends up getting brutalized. And after that, Roxton basically tells them that they deserved it, and this makes everyone pretty upset, especially Tank.
What do you say I waste him right here, right now?
By all means, please, I'll take anything at this point. Then they finally make it to Death Valley, which is just a shit ton of T-Rexes. Oh my god, they're literally eating each other. What's going on down here? Naturally, they just decide to run for it, and all the dinos come out this time, baby. It's a fight to the death, and by that I mean a bunch of people brutalizing dinosaurs with assault rifles. Marquez actually saves Captain Stakely at one point, and he gets mad at him.
What's when you shoot it?
But the best part of it all is when Roxton tries to escape and gets absolutely chomped by a T-Rex. And you know what? From there, I'm gonna tell you what happens. It's really simple. They're running the helicopter, whatever. They're running. Marquez falls down and they're all on the plane. They're like, come on, run. And he's like, no, I can't do it. And they're like, yes, you can. And then he gets chomped and then they fly away. And that's the end. But you know what I think we all need now? I think we need a breather. We need a refresher. So, come on a journey with me. Come on. It was a bright and beautiful day. A chance for change. A chance for retribution. And why? Because I was going to see Dippy, the dinosaur.
It's Dippy Day!
And not just any dinosaur. Dippy was the first dinosaur, and he was coming back to the Natural History Museum in London. Of course, we had to start the day bright and early, so we went to get some coffee, and it made me have to poop, but that makes me happy.
Guys, it's been years since we've seen Dippy. The first time he was displayed was in 1905. It looks like he left in 2017, so he's making a pretty good return here. Yes, I saw that excitement. So the reason they're bringing Dippy back is to talk about biodiversity, which is important. Yes. I really just feel like you're not listening to me.
Me?
And after that, we were off. It was time, and I could barely contain my excitement. Forget CGI dinosaurs because this was the real deal. I'd seen mostly everything at this museum before. My territory was marked, so I decided to go straight to the scene of the crime. And as I turned the corner, there he was. Dippy. Beautiful, majestic, sexy. After this experience, I felt saved. I felt like nothing could ever hurt me again. No CGI or Gary Stretch or Jurassic Attack could hurt me ever again.
Thank you, Dippy. Thank you for helping me.
I was reborn, and it was all thanks to my new friend, Dippy the dinosaur. Okay, it's over. You can leave.